No cat this morning, although I did hear a large hairball being ejected out in the patio, though I think he's recuperating. Sorry, that might have been a little TMI. But if you have a cat, you can relate. Let's see. So many questions this week. We ever get to get into any damn answers? Maybe. I'm not sure. I do have questions, and so one of the biggest questions we posed this week, and I like posing questions with my friends, is why is it that some people are better healers than others? And is it possible to become a better healer? Would you like to heal better? Would you like to have your problems and difficulties healed more efficiently and effectively? Would you like to be, what's the modern word? Would you like to be an influencer of more healing around you? I've got a suspicion that you would like that because like attracts like. So we're examining this topic this week, and a thought came to me the other day as I was living my life, I suppose. A friend sent me something about some of the benefits of meditation, and one of the benefits of meditation is that it seems to have tangible benefits for health and well-being, including mental health. And so the thought came to me, from mental illness to mental stillness. Sorry, I need some coffee. From mental illness to mental stillness. Well, how does that tap into the topic this week? I think it taps in quite significantly because on Monday and Tuesday of this week, I've been talking about this thing called the golden key. You got a golden key. Well, what does that mean? It just means instead of thinking about the problem, you think about God instead. And it's tied for first amongst the ways of solving problems, making them go away. And of course, this would include healing. Healing is, to some degree, simply put, the resolution or the elimination of a problem, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual, wherever it strikes us. So if we have some ability to think about God rather than the problem, and we can do that with greater immediacy and greater depth, then we become better and better healers. But now the skeptic out in the audience yells out, "Yo, mister, I don't know how to think about God. What does that mean? How do you know?" And curiously, Albert Einstein, who was not religious, certainly not in any conventional sense, and one could say that he wasn't spiritual, so to speak, but he he had a sense of something. He had a deep curiosity and awe and reverence, and in all of his scientific explorations, he felt as though he was searching for something. He would find greater and greater answers as he kept searching, and this kept him searching his entire life. He basically said that there was one sense of God that that he could relate to, it was the God of Spinoza, the great mystic, Jewish mystic of the 16th and 17th century, Baruch Spinoza, great genius. But Einstein also famously commented, "I swear this talk is going somewhere. I just had a sip of coffee. I can feel it coursing through my brain." And Einstein once famously said, "I'm not interested in the thoughts of men so much. I'm interested in the thoughts of God." Well, that's the topic this week, is how do we golden key? How do we think the thoughts of God rather than my own ridiculous thoughts? There's so many ways to think that are, how shall we say, sick. There are sick ways of thinking. Now, to realize all you have to do is look at the DSM 300. It might be the DSM 400 now, or the DSM 500. It's all these various mental disorders, diseases, and neuroses that are outlined. It's amazing we have a list of all those in one place. So there's a lot of ways to think that are sick and lead to trouble. So we might say mental trouble looks like this, okay? It's the oscilloscope of neurotic thoughts going through our head. And as they gain momentum, illness, sickness, sadness, and depression only get worse. Well, Mr. Internet talker guy, how do we How do we think different than that? Well, that's one way is to think the thoughts of God. Do what Einstein said and think godlike thoughts. What would be some godlike thoughts? Love, tolerance, peace, calm. But what happens if you can't even get a sense of that? Well, from mental illness to mental stillness, from this to this to this. I just drew a flat line. I don't mean we die, so to speak, but I do mean in meditation, we slow down the neurotic movements of our mind. Now, are all the movements of my mind neurotic? Depends on who you ask or what day it is, but they are generally more calm and peaceful. And if you can't think about God, if you can't even grab a hold of your mind and think godlike thoughts, we can at least slow our mind down. How do you do that? You just sit and let your mind settle. And like sand mixed into a big bucket of water that's all cloudy and occluded, if you just quit stirring it, the sand in the water will sink. And what will be left is clarity. And this means whatever problem that I'm suffering from, whatever problem you're suffering from, whatever it is, if we quit beating the drum of that particular neuronal pattern and let it settle back down into its native nothingness, we get to some degree what could be an immediate or rather quick solution to our problems. Let me sum it all up. Problems, solution, factory reset. So congratulations on being a meditator. And now you have the two great keys. I have the two great keys to solving any problem, myself or for anyone else. Think thoughts of God. God is love. God is truth. God is beauty. God is spiritual. God is soul. God is intelligence. God is wisdom. God is love. God is life. I live and move and breathe. I have my very being in God. And if I can't conjure that because I'm too freaked out, I can simply say God is with me, close my eyes, and then let whichever DSM it is settle for the moment. I'll see you tomorrow.